Well, hey, you guys. So I was recently thinking about a specific group of people that I hear on the Ramsey Show a lot because we talk about retirement investing and how important it is and how you need to be investing 15% of your income once you're debt-free and have a fully funded emergency fund. But I also really feel for people because we get calls, with people in their 50s or their 60s and they have not saved anything for retirement. And in 2024, people that are in their 50s, 60s, that's either a boomer or even Gen X. So today, I'm talking specifically to Gen X out there and those above, so you boomers as well. But to figure out, hey, is it still possible for you to retire? Because the truth is, it is, but it may look a little different than what you think. And this also would apply if you are at the point where you're not investing yet for retirement, and maybe you are a millennial or even a Gen Zer out there. But I think it's important to understand, hey, this is what the future looks like, and you could learn a lot from that. So be sure, you guys, to hit that subscribe button, though, before we jump in if you want to hear more content like this. All right, step one, if you are a Gen Xer or a baby boomer when it comes to retirement, is knowing what your current situation looks like. And I think this idea of retirement, if you don't feel like you have enough, can be really scary. And what happens is fear can just magnify so much in our heads. So getting actual numbers down is really, really important. And some people don't even know. They're like, I think I have this in my 401k. I don't even know if I have a Roth IRA. I think I funded it a few years ago, but I'm not sure. Like, getting all of your numbers is really key. And then plugging them in somewhere to at least get this overall view of when it comes to your numbers and your situation. And one of the best ways to do that is with an investment calculator. And I always use the Ramsey calculator because, again, it's obviously very accurate, but I think it's easy to change up some of these numbers to get some hypothetical situations. So, for instance, let's just say you're 60 years old and you're making $70,000 a year. And if you invested 15% of your income, that's $875 a month for the next 10 years with a 10% rate of return. Then you'll have about $180,000 in retirement. Now, if you increase your retirement age to 72 and raise your contributions by 5%, you'll have more like $322,000 saved, which, again, you want to retire as soon as possible. So is that a great retirement age, 72? No, but also people are doing it to get more money in their retirement, which is really, really important. So is it possible to retire later? Yes, it is. Now, here's another example. Let's say you're 52 and you and your spouse have recently become empty nesters, and combined, you make $100,000 a year. If you have nothing saved for retirement, but maybe you have a paid off home and you're in good health and you both have accepted, we'll probably work later into our 60s. And you get to this point that you're like, okay, let's invest $1,500 a month for the next 15 years at 10% rate of return. Well, that means you would have $622,000 at the age of 67. And then if you work till 70, you'd have just over $900,000. Again, in this hypothetical situation, also a paid off home. So you put all that together with your assets and you're a net worth millionaire, which is awesome. So if you get the idea of kind of taking inventory of your current situation and playing around with the numbers, you can actually kind of get to this place of facts and not emotion to help you better plan. All right, step two for my Gen Xers is to get yourself in a position where you can actually invest. So it's hard to do 15% of your income, again, when you have a lot of debt payments, you don't have money saved and all of that. So getting yourself with a firm financial foundation is not only going to help you long-term when it comes to retirement, but it's going to help you more in the present. So getting out of debt is so important. So I would actually, some people would yell at me for this, pause investing in order to pay off your debt faster. And people are getting out of debt in 18 to 24 months using the debt snowball method, where you pay off the smallest debt first and work your way up. And then once that's paid off, get an emergency fund in place of 3 to 6 months of expenses. So all of that is really, really key, again, to have that strong foundation so then you can put even more towards retirement. All right, step three is to remember that the 15% rule will catch you up over time if you pause investing to tackle getting out of debt and getting an emergency fund in place. Because the truth is, some people just match up to their 401k. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm just, investing 4% or 5% or 6%. So 15% is crushing it, you guys. So putting that much towards it is going to help you in the future. All right, step 4 is to shift your expectations. So again, if you are a Gen Xer or a boomer and you are behind and you don't have a lot of money saved for retirement, number one, just remember, it is never too late, okay? You can do this. You have to start where you are. And again, putting some of these rules in place is going to help you get there faster. But the truth is that the expectations of, oh yeah, I'm going to just retire at 59 and a half may not be realistic, and that's okay. And I think that's life too. I think there's, harder expectations that we have to lower in life. So whether it's like the type of house that you're wanting to buy, or even when it comes to getting married or having kids, like there are things in life that happen and you're like, man, I could have made different decisions, but I'm not going to just sit there and wallow in the past. What am I going to do today? And so shifting those expectations is a part of life. And the truth is, if you don't have a lot saved right now and you are in your 50s or 60s, that expectation of how much you'll have and even the age you retire may have to shift a little, those expectations, but that doesn't mean that you can't retire. I really, really believe when you get strategic about this, you can do it. And then step 5, part of that strategy is sitting down with a professional. So again, working with somebody that, again, has your overall financial picture. And this is, everything from Social Security, if you have a pension, a family inheritance, house value, estate planning, taxes. I mean, there's so much that an actual professional, an investment professional can sit down, run some scenarios, run numbers. And what's really key about these people is a lot of them don't even really get into the nitty-gritty of like, oh, the specific fund. You can have your overall strategy, which is key, but they're looking at you as the whole person. And so having someone with that high-level visual of your financial situation is really, really wise. And so if you're looking for someone, make sure to check out SmartVestor Pro. I can leave a link in the description to find a professional in your area that you can sit down with, because again, sitting down with somebody that knows what they're doing in this area is so, so key. Okay, so is it possible for older generations to retire? Yes, it is. And again, it may take some unique strategy, but it's never too late. So leave this video with a lot of hope, you Gen Xers and your boomers out there, because it is possible. And just to know, the biggest turnaround that you're going to have in your financial situation is up to you. It is you. You're the one that's going to change the course of your future financially from this day forward, and you can do this. All right, if you found this episode helpful, make sure to share it with a friend or a relative who may need help in this area. And if you want to dive deeper into investing, make sure to check out my episode, Investing for Total Beginners, by clicking here or using the link in the show notes if you are listening on podcast. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. One thing that I teach is always to live on less than you make. And one thing that I've learned over the years is that this mindset carries into other parts of our life too. So today I'm going to talk about 6 minimalist habits that can improve your life and your money. And be sure to drop some of your favorite minimalism tips down below, because I always love hearing from you guys. Now make sure to subscribe and share this episode with a friend. All right, tip number 1, not really money related, but it's very helpful. And that is to simplify your schedule. We live in a world, you guys, where we are like back to back on our calendars, right? I mean, it's just like everything always. There's so much going on, so many commitments. And I feel like as life goes on and different seasons of life change, right? Maybe you get married, maybe you start having kids. Like it just feels like life gets fuller and fuller. And we feel this need to continue to like rush around and be busy. And what ends up happening is I think it really does not just affect our money, because it can, us spending money on all this stuff, but also it just affects our peace of mind. Because when you are in a constant state of rush and hurry, it's not healthy for you. It's not good for you. There's a great book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry by John Mark Comer. But he talks about this all the time, about like how we've come as a society and a culture to almost celebrate busyness. But it is not good for us, you guys. It is not good. So being able to look and say, hey, we're going to choose intentionally to schedule my life in such a way that I have margin, just like we talk about having margin with your money, that actually gives you this level of peace because you have control back, and actually time to yourself, or time to do the things that you really want to do. We had to do this with our kids. We got to this point that we're like, oh my gosh, there's just too many things. So it was even simple decisions like, okay, everyone gets to choose one thing per semester, one thing, and that's it. Instead of trying to do 2 or 3 different things per kid. I mean, it just gets out of control. So being able to have margin in your time is going to give you peace. Number 2 is to spend money on experiences over possessions. So what I mean by this is this idea of when you experience something with the people that you love, Arthur Brooks talks about this, it actually implements joy into your life. And so when you say, okay, we're going to actually spend more of our time and our money on experiences and enjoying life, it is going to bring you more joy. Now, this is no excuse to be like, okay, great, let's go book a Disney cruise for 2 weeks, regardless of our money, right? No, we still have to have money for these experiences. We want to be sure that we absolutely, budget for them. All that is still very, very important. But there is something to be said when you sit there and just buy a bunch of stuff. I'm saying this to myself, just PS. And you just buy stuff and buy stuff and buy stuff and buy stuff, and it just kind of keeps just piling on. There's something there that does not bring joy, you guys. Stuff will not bring you joy. It's okay to have some stuff, but actually start navigating and prioritizing experiences over stuff. And that will help with the minimalism in your life because you won't have as much material things, but you're going to have great experiences with people you love. Tip number 3 is to live on less than you make. So we talked about this earlier, but this is so, so key. When you do a budget, you guys, you want to have margin. You want to get to this point that you get at the bottom and say, okay, here's my income. Here's everything that I spend money on. And you don't want to be in the red, right? You don't want to spend more than what your income you have coming in is. So you want to be able to say, no, I want to be in the black, meaning I have extra money left over. And with that money, be intentional with it. But that is a peaceful place to be. So you can do things like cut out, going out to eat, an expensive coffee. You can, there's subscriptions and memberships you're not using. You can do things and cut things out to give yourself that margin, because when there's less of this idea of stress with your budget and there's actually a level of peace when you say, yeah, we don't have so much that we're spending money on, we're cutting things out. Again, a level of minimalism, but when it comes to your money, will give you so much peace of mind. All right, before I share the rest of my tips, I want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Christian Healthcare Ministries. Just about everything costs more these days. CHM is not health insurance. It's a biblically based health cost sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours with healthcare costs without sacrificing freedom. You can join CHM at any time, like now. So learn more at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget. All right, tip number 4 for some minimalism is to declutter the spaces that you're in. So my friend Dawn, who you may know her as Minimal Mom, has talked about, not using rugs in her home anymore because it's one less thing that you have to keep clean. And so you can look at things, get creative when you look around, places in your kitchen or in your bathroom or your closet where you're like, hey, what are things that I can actually remove and not only create more space and more margin with the physical space around me, but also that, I don't have to keep up this idea of like brain calories of having to choose or think through things, right? So like hers, as an example, the rug, it's like, okay, that's one less thing I have to think about. Like, that's great, right? For me, when I go through my closet and being able to like take things out and like donate or give things away, and I go and I'm like, okay, here's the things in my closet that I actually wear, that I actually like. It's less brain calories to go in and feel like I have to like sort through a bunch of stuff that I don't even like or wear anymore, right? So you're minimalizing not just the space that you're in, but the brain calories it takes to make decisions within those spaces. Tip number 5 is to cut out toxic relationships. So this is an interesting one because community and friendships, they are such a gift. But sometimes we have relationships in our life that can be very draining, and there may be a time and a place to set boundaries, right? This is going to look different depending on the relationship. But sometimes you end up in, a friendship with someone over time that maybe you weren't even that great of friends, but yet like they are just like taking so much out of you, or there's like this codependence or like just some weird elements. And as an adult, you're okay to set some boundaries and say, hey, I may not have the time and the energy to upkeep this relationship. Now, obviously, the longer the relationship, or if it's family, like there's definitely more elements to this point. But if you do have a toxic relationship in your life, setting a boundary is going to give you some peace. Tip number 6 is do a no spend challenge once a year. So I love this because you could take a month and say, hey, we're not going to buy anything that we don't need, right? We're going to cover our food, shelter, utilities, transportation, all that's really important. But all this extra stuff that we end up buying, we're going to cut it out. Or maybe you take a month and you say, we're going to eat at home every January. So in January, we're not going out to eat. We're just eating at home. Or maybe you say, I'm not going to buy shoes for 6 months. You like find something where you can do a no spend challenge. Maybe it's a category or a specific time frame. But when you do this, it's amazing to know that not only do you have the discipline for it, but then you also realize how much money you end up spending on stuff that you don't need. And usually that stuff ends up taking up space in your life. And so there's something about this that's so powerful. I did this with my kids last summer because they were just like to this point where, they work and they'll, make some money here and there around the house. But it was like, can we go to Target? Can we go to Target? Can we go to the toy store? Can I get on Amazon? And they just wanted to spend all their money constantly. And it was so exhausting. So we finally were like, okay, this summer, you can't spend any money. Kids, you're done. You're done. And it's amazing what ends up happening when it's not even an option to go and buy something. You get creative. You see what you have. You play with what you have. And I think that's true as adults. Like if we told ourselves, no, we're not spending money, you got to get creative and realize you're going to be okay. Like you can do this. So needs versus wants is a big conversation here. But all the stuff in the want category, it's powerful to say, yeah, I'm going to choose not to spend money on that, and to know that you can do this and you will survive it and you'll save time and money by doing it too, which is great. Now, a great tool when you're doing these kind of challenges is when you are looking at your budget, and we talked about earlier, even cutting out some expenses to live on less than you make. Having a budget to help guide some of this is so key. And that's why I love EveryDollar. EveryDollar is an incredible budget. It's an app on your phone. And it really does help you stay organized. It helps you stay accountable, and it allows you to visually see the plan that you have for your money. So make sure to check that out. I'll leave the link down below, but check out EveryDollar, create a budget, and start living when you are organized with your money, because it is again, peaceful way to live. For more minimalism tips, make sure to check out my episode, Life-Changing Lessons I've Learned from Minimalists. You can click here, or if you're listening on podcast, I will leave a link down below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. All right, you guys, I am back to chat with you about our favorite topic, cars. I mean, obviously, I'm so knowledgeable on cars. No, but for real, this is such a part of our life, and we need car content to make sure that we're not overpaying for things. We know what we're doing. And let's be honest, it's just a part of our life. So let's get to it. Because unless you are, riding in a taxi or taking the subway every day, you're going to have a car. You're going to have a car. And when it comes to deciding the right car to own the right way, it can get a little complicated. And especially since inflation is so high and everything still is crazy, we need to chat about this, because apparently I'm not the only one that has noticed this. I saw an article recently with this exact point. So today, together, we're going to unpack this subject. We're going to talk about the 11 cars you don't want to have during inflation. And I'll give you all the details and share my honest reactions and opinions. Plus, stick around to hear my top 3 tips for car ownership. Okay, recently, Consumer Reports put together a list of the vehicles that were the most expensive to fill with gas. Now, these aren't necessarily the cars on the market that get the worst gas mileage, just the ones that cost the most when you fill them up. And there are obviously pros and cons with every vehicle, but gas is always a consistent part of the equation. And the cost of gas typically takes up space in the American budget every single week. So it's something to look at. Now, based on the average gas price of $3.65, here is what we found. Number 1, the Toyota Sequoia. Yep, it can hold up to 22.5 gallons and approximately 21 to 24 miles per gallon. And the cost to fill up the tank is $82.13. And you can buy this car for $61,275 new. Number 2 is the Chevy Tahoe, 24-gallon capacity, approximately 15 to 20 miles per gallon. And the cost to fill up the tank is $87.60. And the price for this car is $56,200. Number 3, the Chevy Silverado, 24-gallon capacity, approximately 18 to 21 miles per gallon, and the cost to fill up the tank is $87.60. And the price of this is only $36,800. It's getting a little cheaper. All right, number 4 is the Cadillac Escalade, 24-gallon capacity, approximately 14 to 18 miles per gallon, and it costs $87.60 to fill up, and the price of this car is $81,895. Number 5 is the Ram 1500. It has a 26-gallon capacity, approximately 19 to 24 miles per gallon, and the cost to fill up this tank is $94.90. And the car price for this is $39,420. Number 6 is the Nissan Titan. It has a 26-gallon capacity, approximately 15 to 21 miles per gallon, and the cost to fill up this tank is $94.90. And the price for this is $46,690. Number 7, the Infiniti QX80. It can hold 26 gallons of gasoline, approximately 14 to 20 miles per gallon. The cost to fill up this tank is $94.90. The car price is $74,150. Number 8 is the Nissan Armada. It has a 26-gallon capacity, approximately 14 to 19 miles per gallon, and the cost to fill this tank up, $94.90, and the car price is $56,520. Number 9, the Ford Expedition. It holds 27.8 gallons, that's a lot, approximately 17 to 23 miles per gallon. Now the cost to fill up this tank, we broke it, y'all. We broke the $100 ceiling. $101.47. And the price for the Expedition is $55,525. And the next, the big one, man, I see this one around everywhere. The Chevy Suburban. Now it holds 28 gallons, approximately 15 to 20 miles per gallon. And the cost to fill up this is $102.20. And the price is $59,200. And number 11, the most expensive. And this is what my husband has. So I'm like, oh no, we made a mistake. The Toyota Tundra. Okay, but it holds, I'm going to justify this one. It holds 32 gallons, 32.2 to be exact, and approximately 18 to 23 miles per gallon. The cost to fill up that is $117.53. Oh my gosh. And the car price is $39,965. Okay. Listen, I know there are a lot of factors that go into buying a car, and you got to do what makes sense for your family, but I didn't see a minivan. I did not see a minivan there on that old list. No, a proud minivan owner. But for real, if you're the SUV, it's mostly SUVs and trucks, right, on this list, because obviously, they're bigger. If you have a lot of kids, you want to look cool. I mean, you're going to get the SUV. Let's just be honest. But for real, you do want to think through, hey, if this is going to cost this much to fill up the tank, every time we fill up, what's that look like for our budget? And so ultimately, though, all of this is up to you. And no matter what your priorities are, go the smart way. So here are 3 things to remember when it comes to buying a car. Number 1, buy used until you can buy new. So buying a used car, guys, it's great. Okay, you can find great used cars, even 2, 3, 4, 5 years old. They're going to be fine. And most of the time, the owner that bought it initially when it was brand new is going to take the hit for the depreciation. I mean, they go down so fast in value. So go and buy it, a few years old, and it's great. I mean, even the things that people can do to clean up cars, make it smell like new, it's going to be fantastic. Now, if you have $1 million net worth, that's when we always say that you can then go buy a brand new car off the lot. Because at that point, you can take the hit of the depreciation and not affect you financially as much. But until then, buy used. Number 2, pay cash. A lot of people are like, wait, what? This is crazy. Listen, a car payment is one of the worst things that you can have in your financial life because you are taking out a loan and paying interest on something that's going down in value. So drive a car that you can afford. It may not be a great car. It may not be beautiful and wonderful, maybe, a couple $1,000s, but drive that, save up what the average monthly car payment is. And then in a year, you're going to have thousands of dollars where you can sell that car, put it together, and step up in car and just keep going up that way. Because let's be honest, a car is to get you from point A to point B. So don't go and waste your money on car payments and interest. Pay cash. All right, number 3, never let the value of your car or cars exceed more than 50% of your annual salary. So this is something to look at. If you're a dual income household, take both of your salaries, put them together, and make sure your cars are not more than 50% of that number. Now, if you're thinking about buying or selling a car, make sure to check out the Ramsey Car Guide because from everything, vehicle maintenance to purchasing, all of it, it is a great tool to navigate the ins and outs of the car industry the smart way. So I'll put a link below. Make sure to check it out. And if you haven't checked out my episode on 10 great cars under $10,000, make sure to do that next. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. So one of the trends on social media, I feel like whenever I open up Instagram or something, it's always like, here's what I eat in a day, or here's what I wore this week. So today I'm putting a financial twist on this trend and sharing what I spend in a weekend. Now make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. All right, let's dive in. So when we were thinking through this topic, me and my team, I was like, well, let me just go and just like scroll through my calendar and just like put my finger on like a random weekend and just go back in every dollar and look what were all the transactions in that weekend. So this was a weekend that I looked, it was in June. And when I looked at my calendar, I was like, okay, we went to the lake for part of it. So have that in your head as I'm thinking through this. We were out of town for part of it. And as I'm scrolling back through every dollar and re-looking at some of these transactions, I was like, okay. And it's just so funny when you go back and actually study. I don't always do this. Like actually look and you're really, really intentional at exactly what you spent in a month or during a certain period of time. It really makes you realize like life just happens, right? And so some of these you'll see, like it's just like spontaneous purchases. Some of it was things that we had to buy, but you can really start to see how your money incorporates so much of your calendar and the seasonality of life. So always remember that when you're doing a budget, depending on the month or the season, it's really going to change. So the first thing that I saw for this weekend was a grocery bill for the weekend. Are you ready for this? Everyone prepare your hearts. It was $201.31. And I remember having to buy a ton of food because we were hosting one night and we got drinks, we got food. I mean, all of it. So it was like we were cooking lunch and dinner that day, I remember, and we had like 15 people we were cooking for. And then, at the lake, you want a little sipper, so we got some drinks and all of that. But yeah, it was a big grocery bill. That's usually what we spend. And most of the time, like in a week and a half will be that, because I'm usually pretty good at what we buy, but it just was a bigger grocery bill. But that was the truth of it. That's what it was. Number two, there was a gas transaction. So we obviously filled up with gas in the minivan, and it was $49.72. We ordered Papa John's when we got home from the lake. And so that was $49.53. I think it was probably like 2 pizzas and I don't know, some wings or something. You know what's so sad? I have a vivid memory of Papa John's. It's like deep in my soul. Papa John's, for whatever reason, it was like the pizza we grew up with as kids. But I remember the pizza guy would come to our front door with like a large cheese and a large Supreme for Mom and Dad. And we would hand them a $20 bill and say, keep the change. That's how much it was like back in the day, y'all. A $20 bill covered 2 large pizzas. And now it's double or even more than that with all the fees and everything. But we'll just remember. Go back in our nostalgic days. Okay, number 4 was, this is going to probably gross some of y'all out. It's like this magic molluscum spray. So if you don't have kids, you're going to be like, gross, what are you talking about? But in the summer, sometimes, and this popped up they popped up in June for us. It went away, thank God. But it's like this like thing on our kids' skin, and you can get it from like sharing towels or whatever. And they can end up being like little like bumps, and they're gross, but kids, they get like weird stuff. So it was like this magic spray. I remember someone saying, because Charles had like 2 or 3 molluscums on him. And I was like, we've got to get rid of this because they hurt and they're not fun. But I ordered that from Amazon. Number 5, our Amelia's watch subscription hit that weekend. So I remember kind of tracking that. And that's $19.33 a month. And it's one of those like little watches. It's not an Apple Watch, but she can just like text and call and stuff. And it's been great for her. She's 10 and we love it. But yep, you got to pay for the subscription every single month. Now, one subscription that is in our monthly budget that we really do love is Delete Me. Because the truth is, if you don't remove your personal data from the internet, it's basically like a billboard for all to see, because it'll be your name, your address, your email, even your kids' names are out there on sketchy data broker websites. And so data brokers then will sell your data and put you at risk for scams and fraud. But the wonderful news is Delete Me goes in and removes your data, and that really helps protect you from phishing, harassment, and other online threats. Your family's safety and financial security are way too important to leave exposed. So join Delete Me at joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off all the annual plans, and it brings your monthly cost to under $9 a month, or just click the link in the description. Number 6, another Amazon purchase. This was Winston's collapsible dog bowls for $5.98. Golly, it's giving like George Camel vibes. It's like the dog purchases. We're like, wait, what? But that was Winston's for Sweet June. Number 7, there was a Target purchase for $26.07. And that was for me. I got a pair of wedges with like the clear straps on them. And I'll be honest, they really weren't that comfortable. But they were $26. So I wore them a couple times and yeah. Number 8 was our local toy store here in Franklin, Tennessee. It was for $50.81. And that was for a gift for our kid's friend's birthday. And I do love this toy store, though, because they wrap your gifts for free, which is wonderful. And I think this ended up being actually 2 kids' gifts because Charles had 2 friends that were having birthday parties. But it was great. I usually sometimes try to order on Amazon kids' birthday gifts because I feel like they're usually cheaper. But my kids love a freaking toy store, and I do love this toy store in our area. It's like really sweet and great. So it is nice. And then they wrap it for you. I love that. So, because you don't want to see my wrapping. It's terrible. Okay. So again, if you walk away with anything, let it be this. Just tracking your month-to-month expenses is so crucial when it comes to winning, you guys, with money. And every dollar I do love because the transactions drop in and you can just drag and drop them and it has the date on them. You can put them in the category and it really does help. Not that you have to like go back and look at specific weekends necessarily, but if you're wanting to cut down your lifestyle, then you can actually go back and look and be like, okay, these were things like some of these things on the list we did not need, right? Like even the grocery bill, I probably could have done a better job of saving money there. But like you can look at specific situations and say, okay, where are we really spending our money? And if we do have to cut back, let's look at where we can cut back on. And also, if you are winning with money and enjoying it, it at least still gives you this level of control that you know where your money's going. Even a $6 collapsible dog bowl, right? Like we still track that in the Cruze household. Because there's just something really important about knowing where your money's going. And there's a level of responsibility there that I think is really great. Now, it's also crucial to still have fun with your spending, which we love. So make sure to check out the video, How to Enjoy Your Life, Even on a Budget. You can click right here, or if you're listening on podcast, I will leave a link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. This one goes out to all my overachievers out there. Even if you feel confident with the basics of wealth building, there may be some areas that you're overlooking. So today we're going to unpack some of the common things that people tend to overlook when trying to build wealth. Now make sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with a friend. All right, let's jump in. We're going to go right to the list, y'all, which I love. Number 1, you may be overlooking if you have savings but still carry debt. So this happens a lot. So people will call into the Ramsey Show and they're like, hey, you know, we have $13,000 of debt and we're going to start working our way out. And we're like, great. You know, do you have any savings? And they're like, yeah, we got $6,000 over here. And we're like, well, good. Let's throw $5,000 at the debt and get this started. Because here's the thing, your debt is costing you. And people have this mindset of like, I want to have a ton of money in savings before I start paying off debt because $1,000, which is what we teach as your starter emergency fund, it's not enough, all of us. And what we find is it takes so long to build up that savings that you never really make traction on the thing that's actually eating away your income, which is your debt. Like you are paying interest on these things when you're paying debt. So it's not only the payment, but it's everything on top of it. And when you can get that done as fast as possible, then you can start building up big savings. So that $1,000 emergency fund, it's there. It can feel very uncomfortable, I get, for a lot of people. But if something big happens, pause your debt snowball and everything that you were momentally putting towards your debt. Use that for the emergency that you have, right? If you need more money than $1,000, you can get to it. And usually for anything that is above $1,000, you'll get a bill. You'll have probably a month or 2 to pay for it. So you can figure out ways, you know, around it to cash flow it. But this idea of like, oh, I just want to keep a bunch of savings, that is costing you. Number 2, your emergency savings is in a regular checking account. So listen, y'all, move it. Because when you log into your checking account, you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, we have all this money. And if we need to use a little here or there, there's like, it's easy. It's just all right there, right? It's the same account that you're emotionally used to spending out of. So what I want you to do is I want you to move it to a high yield savings account. Usually an online bank is great for this. Fairwinds is a great credit union that you can put your money there. But this idea of having your money in a separate account emotionally kind of separates it. So to get to it, I want you to be able to, like, I want you to have a card associated with that account, because if you got to use your emergency fund, you want to be able to use it. You don't want it in an investment somewhere that you can't get to. But also you want a little bit more friction than just your everyday checking account. All right, number 3, your house payment exceeds 25% of your monthly pay. So owning a home, it is a big goal. Like, it is a massive accomplishment when you get to do that. But if you're spending up to 30, 40, 50% of your income just to maintain a mortgage, you do not have enough money left in your budget, in your income, to do the other things in life that you need to do. And so what we find is so often people will get a house beyond that 25%. And then what's hard is, you think about it, you got to, invest, you want to give, there's other things you want to be doing with money, not just paying a massive mortgage payment. So that either means, one, it's going to take you longer to save up for a house so that your mortgage payment is less than if you went in with not a lot of money down. So maybe it takes a little bit longer to save. Maybe it's your expectation of the actual house or the area that you want to live. Maybe that looks different than what you want in order to get into the market. But again, I know 25% can feel really conservative for a lot of people, and a lot of people complain about this with us. But again, when it is in control, and if your income's going up and it's 28%, you're like, yeah, but I'm getting a raise in the next year or two. There's workarounds to it, but sticking to that 25% mentality is going to keep you in a range that is wise and safe and give you enough margin to do other things with your money that are really important. Number 4, you give in to lifestyle creep with every raise. This happens all the time, y'all. You're working and working, you're used to living on this income, and then you get a bump. And you're like, oh, well, then I get this much more a month. That's great. I can spend that here. And then the next year that happens and you spend the bump again, and you just keep moving up in lifestyle. And that is lifestyle creep to the T, versus saying, hey, I'm going to stay at a lifestyle that I have. Now, if I am earning more money, yes, can I take some of that and use it, for my good and for what I want? Absolutely. But we're also going to be wise with the other part, that we're not going to just continue to spend the raise. We're going to invest it. We're going to give it. We're going to do other things that are beneficial to us and our future selves, not just in the moment. All right, more of this list in a minute. But first, I do want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Delete Me. Because if you don't remove your personal data from the internet, your name, address, email, even your kids' names are out there on sketchy data broker websites. And data brokers collect your data, sell it, and that puts you at risk for scams and fraud. But the good news is Delete Me removes your data and helps protect you from phishing, harassment, and other online threats. Winston and I use Delete Me, and it saves us so much time and worry. So protect your family's privacy and safety by signing up for Delete Me. Go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off, bringing your monthly cost to under $9, or just click the link in the description. All right, number 5, credit card payments rob your monthly budget. Y'all, the credit card, we can go round and around with this, but here's the truth. And it has been proven that you end up spending more when you spend with a credit card, because emotionally, it's not your money that you're spending. And you continue to live in the past. Like when that bill comes and you have to pay it, everything is already experienced, versus in the moment, when you pay for it in the moment, it's done. You don't have to worry about a payment. You don't have to worry about a bill. Like, it's done. And then what happens is people are like, well, I'll have it, but I won't go in debt. I'll pay it off every month. And then it creeps and creeps and creeps. And then we talk to people on the regular, tens of thousands of dollars of credit card debt. And then the interest rates on these, y'all, are insane. It's disgusting. It's horrible. So it is a bad financial habit to be in. Just pay in the moment with your own money. And I promise you will love it. And if you need help, creating a budget and knowing, hey, do I have money in the moment to spend? Check out EveryDollar. It's an amazing budgeting app. It's my favorite tool when it comes to your money. We'll put a link down below. All right, number 6 is invest less than 15% in retirement. So when a lot of people start off, they're working, they're like really excited because, they're like maybe got their first job and they sign up for their 401k plan and their company matches 4%. And they're like, great, I'll invest 4% and get the match. And then that's all they do. And that's how they live their lives for a long time. So I want you to go beyond that. I want you investing 15% of your income. Now, this is after you are debt-free with a fully funded emergency fund, because that 15% is going to set you up for a great retirement. And that can be through your company's 401k or a Roth IRA, but being able to invest a good amount of money, a good amount of your paycheck for the future is really important. Number 7, you don't prioritize generosity. So this is often overlooked, and it can be because you don't feel like you have a lot of money to give. It could be you're just not in the habit of it. You don't think about it. But giving is one of those crucial money principles that's not just good for the world, but it also changes who you are. And there's something about living life where money is not such this factor where we control every bit of it and we just live our lives like this, because that doesn't bring peace. That does not bring peace to you. And so living your life with an open hand is something, again, that is going to be a blessing for people, but also for yourself and what it changes within you. And I think it's just kind of like, it's kind of the antidote. It's like the preventative side of living in a world of like stuff and consumerism and like, I just want to get this to be happy. Like all of that starts to really chip away when you're like, yeah, I'm going to be a generous person and I'm going to give. And that could look like your time as well, right? There's other ways to give, but with your money, it's a big step for a lot of people. So I always encourage people to give a little until you can give a lot. All right, this is just the beginning of all the things that you need to be aware of. So I want you to check out my episode, 6 Money Hacks You Should Never Trust, because they're traps. So you can click right here, or if you're listening on podcast, I'll put a link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. Well, hey, you guys. So one thing about me, I believe 2 things can be true at the same time. Do I believe that you can have the power to build wealth by following a plan and making intentional choices? Yes. Do I believe in listening to expert advice to guide you through certain parts of the process? Also, yes. So even though money can feel very personal and private for a lot of people, the truth is that a financial advisor is a must, especially when it comes to investing. So today I want to talk about that and share 5 reasons why you should never handle your finances alone. A lot of people assume that this service is only for the extremely wealthy people, that's what they need. But the truth is, it's wise to get a coach or somebody in your corner at any stage of your financial journey. We've already done the work to find someone that you can trust, but technically there is a right and a wrong time to invest. So stay tuned till the end so you can hear my thoughts on that. But first, let's make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to what a financial advisor is. The term financial advisor isn't an official title or degree. It's just the name of people who offer some kind of service to those seeking guidance with their personal finances. So a few examples of this is a CPA, a certified public accountant, an RIA, a registered investment advisor, a CFP, a certified financial planner, a PFS, a personal finance specialist. And all of those abbreviations can kind of get confusing, but it's encouraging to me to know there are experts out there who are talking about money. They're being educated on it. They got to take a lot of tests and all this smart stuff. So listen, they know what they're doing. But my favorite way to find a trustworthy advisor is through SmartVestor Pro. So I will leave a link for you to get connected with a professional in your area down below. Now let's talk about 5 key reasons why you need to work with a pro. Number 1, financial advisors keep you on track with your investing plan. So in short, financial advisors are constantly asking the important questions that you may not even think to ask. And beyond that, they will know the specific answers and the specific numbers for your situation. So for example, they may have insider information in how much money that you need to have saved for retirement, or how you can make up for lost time if you're investing late. Should you change your investment portfolio as you get older and you're making more money? How do you go about making some of these changes? What are the tax implications? What happens if you sell a property? I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So if you don't believe me, go do a quick Google search, because the data consistently shows that those that work with a professional to help them invest are ahead of those that don't. All right, number 2, financial advisors do more than just invest your money for you. So there is a broad list of things that a financial professional will do for you and help you think about. This is everything from rebalancing your investments, tax planning, estate planning, long-term care planning, spending strategies after retirement, legal restrictions that affect all of the things that we just mentioned. I mean, financial advisors literally live and breathe this stuff. So it doesn't mean that you don't get a say in your own strategy. In fact, I want to empower you. It is your money. They are there to assist and advise, not make the final call. So Just because you're a financial, professional said, oh yeah, you need to do this. I want you to understand why. And if you don't feel good about it, don't do it, okay? Now, they are professionals. They know what they're doing, so I want you to be able to trust them. But also remember, this is your money. You have the power to say yes or no. All right, number 3, even the pros need help sometimes. I mean, you think about it, doctors can't perform surgeries on them. I mean, graduate students, don't grade their own essays. So no matter what industry you're in, everyone has blind spots. So even if you work in the world of finance, or maybe you're good with money, having an expert's opinion is really crucial when you're making big financial decisions. Plus, professional financial advisors often work with up to 100 clients or more, which gives them a much larger amount of context than just, again, your personal perspective and your opinions. And they're unbiased when it comes to their expertise across the board. And again, this is whether they are paid, even how they're paid, right? A flat fee or a commission. Finding someone that you trust is so key. All right, number 4, you just don't have the time. Let's be honest. If you're working a full-time job, you got friends, you got family, you got a million other things to be thinking about. Investing is a really big part of building wealth, and you want to do it the right way. And it also can be something that you just put on autopilot most days. But this only works if a professional is on your team and they're constantly looking at all of the factors when you don't have time to analyze them. So things like inflation and stock market trends and the housing climate, like all of this, yes, I want you to be informative. But again, they're going to have a deeper understanding, which is great. Number 5, financial advisors that make non-emotional decisions so you don't have to lose progress. So just like T Swift's tour, the world of investing has some eras to it, if you know what I mean. So like the stock market drop in 2008, the rise and the fall of crypto, the GameStop spike 2021. I mean, all of these things are factors into our economy. But here's the deal. The flashy headlines can really stir up some big emotion, which causes people to make really bad decisions and pull their money out when they should have just stayed in. And investing works best if you're in it for the long haul, which means working with a professional you can talk yourself down. Our investment professional we met with, he even said the other day, he's like, half my job is literally emailing and taking phone calls, talking people off the ledge because people freak out. They do, and they want to take the money out. But what your investment professional or advisor is going to see is, oh my gosh, if we stay in the market, we actually can end up buying more funds. Your money will go further. So when the market returns, which it has always returned, you're going to make more. So it's best just to ride out the wave. Okay, now that you have more of an understanding of why it's important to work with an investment professional, let's talk about when and how you should reach out to a pro. So when? This is when you are debt-free and you have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved in the bank. This is crucial. Then your goal is to invest 15% of your income into retirement. So this is going to include 401ks and 403bs and Roth IRAs, all of that. And once investing begins, then I would reach out to a pro. So next is how. So how do you find a reliable financial advisor in your area? Well, I will leave a link to SmartVestor Pros down below. So what's really powerful, though, is I would go and talk to maybe 2 or 3 different ones. And maybe one of them, you're kind of like, they kind of just, you don't like them. That's fine. Don't use them. Find somebody that you actually like and that you trust and makes you feel comfortable and, again, has the heart of a teacher. But I want one for you that you enjoy and you trust and you love. If you're looking for more investing advice, make sure to check out my episode on how investing can actually lose you money. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. What if I told you that you're already doing better with money than you think you are? So when you're hyper-focused on your financial goals, it's really easy to feel like, oh my gosh, I just have to go to this next thing, and you don't realize how much you've accomplished. So here are 7 signs that you're doing better financially than the average American. And let me know in the comments where you fall, because I'm curious. And make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. All right, the first sign that you're doing better than the average American is that you're living without debt, or you're actively trying to pay it off. Recent data says that the average U.S. adult owes $66,702 in debt, and 77% of American households carry at least some type of debt. So when you are debt-free, you are obviously weird because you're not part of the majority. And that means you have your income, which is your largest wealth building tool, to use for you. You're not using it for banks and to pay back, Ford Motor Company and like car payments and all the things, right? Like this is for you. So if you are debt-free, you are doing better than the average American. So if you're not, start working on paying it off. And the most effective way to do that is to list out all of your debt, smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate, pay minimum payments on everything, and pay off the smallest one first. All right, the second sign is that you have savings. So as of 2022, the median savings balance for Americans 35 and younger was about $5,400. The median savings balance for Americans ages 35 to 64 falls somewhere between $7,500 and $8,700. So listen, if you have the ability to have margin with your money and your income, which means you're probably debt-free, then you have the ability to save. And when you can save and you have money at your disposal, that helps you so much, especially when it comes to emergencies and things that pop up versus relying on debt to take care of those situations. You are relying on you and your money. So once you are debt-free, build up a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. And again, this can be put in a high yield savings account, which is great, or a money market account, but just tucking it away, don't invest it, and have it there. So if you have money saved, you're doing great. Number 3 is that you're planning for retirement. So according to Ramsey's latest State of Personal Finance report, 37% of Americans have more credit card debt than retirement savings. So if you are able to prioritize retirement, you are ahead of the curve, okay? So once you are debt-free and you have your emergency fund, start investing 15% of your income into retirement. And again, some people, if they are investing, a lot of people aren't even saving for retirement, but if they are, it's like 3, 4, 5% because that's all they have. But again, once you have no debt and you have an emergency fund in place, then your income can be used to pay for yourself in the future for retirement, which is amazing. All right, believe it or not, the next part of this list pulls some things about your character and who you are as a person, which is huge when it comes to managing money. But one thing that you never want to leave out for the world to see is your personal info online. And this is why I love and use Delete Me. So if you don't remove your personal data from the internet, it's basically like a billboard of all of your information. I mean, your name, your address, your email, even your kids' names are out there. And what happens is they get put on these sketchy data broker websites, and then they go collect your data, and then they sell your data to make money. And then you're at risk for scams and fraud, and it's not great. So Delete Me is there to remove your data and help protect you from harassment, threats, again, scams, all of it. Like, get your data off. And that's why Winston and I use Delete Me, because they go in and delete you from the internet. So your family's safety and financial security are very important. And so you do not want to leave those exposed. So sign up for Delete Me. Go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off. And that brings your monthly cost to under $9 a month. So click the link down in the description. All right, number 4, I would say that you're able to celebrate others' wins. So it is an ultimate sign of personal growth when you are able to cheer on other people and there's not bitterness or jealousy within you. And I think that's because you have a level of contentment of where you are financially. And if that's great and that's your true heart, you are doing better than most people. Because I do think when you are stressed with money, you are living paycheck to paycheck. And it's like this feeling of like, we just got to get by. And then you see someone like goes on a great trip and you're like, well, screw you, right? Like, we're just trying to make ends meet. Like, there's this level of like, there's no margin emotionally sometimes. And so understanding that, man, contentment is huge, regardless of where you are financially. Even if you are still living paycheck to paycheck, like getting to this place where you're not apathetic about it, you still have goals, but who you are and what other people are doing doesn't have to affect you. Just because someone else is winning does not mean that you're losing. And that's where you are regardless of where you are financially. That is true. And so there is something to be said from an emotional standpoint. If you are able to cheer someone else on and you're just genuinely excited when other people win, that is a huge marker that you're doing better than other people financially, because it has to do with your character. Number 5 is that you own a home. So if you have managed to buy a home, then you are ahead of approximately 35% of Americans who don't own the home they live in. Now, Owning a home, again, there's a lot that happens here because it is so expensive today, and we are not mad at renting. If you are renting right now because you don't have a down payment saved, that you're still in debt, you don't have an emergency fund, like you're not in a place to own a home, that is okay. You will get there eventually, okay? So understand that. But man, there is something to be said about you are at the place where financially you are able to buy a home, sustain a mortgage, ideally a 15-year fixed rate mortgage where it's no more than 25% of your take home pay is your payment. All of that is a powerful place to be. And again, it takes time to get there. Now, if you do have a mortgage, make sure to use our mortgage payoff calculator to see, if it's possible for you to pay off your home faster than what you've realized. So I'll put a link down below for you to check that out. But you can put in your own numbers and actually see where you are to pay off your home faster. And we find that people are paying off their homes when they're using the baby steps in 9 to 11 years. So pay it off fast. It's awesome. All right, number 6 is that you practice generosity. So if you, again, have the spirit of being generous, and maybe it's buying someone a gift, getting someone coffee, maybe you give consistently to your place of worship, to church, or something that you're passionate about. But this idea of sacrificing your time, your energy, your money for other people, man, that is huge. Like, we live in a world where generosity sometimes is everywhere, which is beautiful. Like, we do see this, if there's like a natural disaster or something happens, like towns and communities gather to help people. And it's like one of the best pictures ever. But in a consistent basis, a rhythm of your life, if you are being generous, I would say you're doing better financially than the average person. Not just because you have the ability to give. It's not a math issue, but it is a heart issue. And there is something to be said that when we hold our money like this and we try to control every aspect of it, there's a point that you're like, okay, maybe you do great financially, but what is it? You're just stuck with yourself and your wants and your needs and desires. That will only get you so far in life with joy. Like, there's a point where you open your hand and you actually have the ability to serve and give to others. And that brings a much richer life than just living for yourself. All right, number 7 is that you're earning the median income. So at the end of the day, your income is your most powerful wealth building tool. And a little over a year ago, the median household income was about $80,610. So if you're earning anywhere within that, $10,000 to $15,000 of that number, you're probably on par with most of your peers. And that's a great place to be. Now, you may be doing better financially than you thought, but if you aren't budgeting the right way, this is a huge miss. So make sure to download Every Dollar. I'll put a link down below because it is the best tool when it comes to helping you budget to be able to hit all the goals and get to the places you want to get to with your money. And to make sure you're not missing the most crucial step for building wealth, check out my episode, Create Your First Budget in 5 Simple Steps. I will leave a link here. You can click this, or if you're listening on podcast, click the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. Well, hey, you guys. So one of the toughest but truest lessons in life is that when something seems too good to be true, it usually is. A classic financial example of this is the old 0% interest trick. Yep, seeing the words 0% APR can feel like a sigh of relief when you're making a big purchase that you don't actually have the funds to cover. But trust me, this one is a marketing scam that should be avoided at all costs. So today, let's talk about all the things. What's the catch with 0% interest? Why is it too good to be true? How can it hurt you in the long run? And what should you do instead of shopping for cars or other big ticket items? Plus, if you stick around to the end, I'll share the one home improvement horror story about 0% interest that will forever be stuck in my mind. So stay tuned for that. First, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what 0% interest actually is. So 0% APR, or 0% annual percentage rate, is a loan that doesn't charge interest, either for the entirety of the loan or just a certain period of time. So let's be clear. 0 interest doesn't mean free. Similar to buy now, pay later deals, 0 interest loans are just another marketing tactic that car dealerships or furniture stores use to get people to consider buying whatever expensive item they don't currently have the cash for. And like all sales or limited time only deals, they can seem harmless and even helpful at first. And then you snap back into reality and remember that borrowing a large sum of money for something that you don't have enough cash to purchase puts you in debt and at risk for months or even years down the road. But sadly, debt has been so normalized in our culture that it's not uncommon for people to live most of their lives paying off car loans and credit card minimum payments and student loans every single month. So let's say the idea of debt doesn't scare you and you're not opposed to low interest financing. So how does 0% APR actually work? Well, typically when you take out a loan on a car, you have to pay back the amount that you borrowed plus interest for however long it takes you to pay off that debt. With zero interest loans, you only have to pay back the original amount on the car. But that doesn't always necessarily mean that you're saving money. Car dealerships offer this as a way to drive up sales on slow-selling models or to clear out less popular inventory and make room for new inventory. And since they're not making money off of you when it comes to interest, they typically will drive up the overall out-the-door price. So instead of saving money, you are paying for a higher price of the car that they're just trying to get rid of. And instead of being financed through a bank or a credit union, zero-interest car loans are set up through the vehicle manufacturer itself, which means you get zero say in the terms of the loan, which actually can be a little strict and even sneaky at times. So if you slip up on just one monthly payment, you'll get hit with a new extremely high interest rate plus other fees and penalties that you never saw coming. And if this is starting to sound a little not too good to be true, you're exactly right. And to sum it up, there are 4 reasons not to fall for 0% interest trick. But first, I want to tell you about a faith-based alternative to health insurance that can make healthcare more affordable. And that is Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM allows members to share each other's healthcare costs. And it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Step 1, choose the healthcare provider you want. Step 2, submit your eligible bills. And step 3, get reimbursed. CHM members take care of your eligible medical bills. And with no networks and the freedom to choose your healthcare provider, CHM is the best option for Christians who want to take care of their families and help other believers. So find out more at chministries.org/budget. All right, back to the 4 reasons. You ready? Higher price up front. Number 2, expensive extras that you're more likely to fall for an impulse buy. Number 3, strict repayment terms that leave no margin for error. And number 4, risk of interest rate changing or increasing over time. Now, at this point, you might be thinking, well, if it's 0% APR loans, if they're a bad idea, how am I supposed to afford a car or a couch that I need? Well, before we get into that horror story that I mentioned earlier, it's time for a reality check and a little bit of a pep talk from your good old friend, Rachel. Yep. My answer may sound oversimplified, but trust me, it is the best when it comes to your money. Instead of relying on debt to fund every aspect of your life and constantly trying to keep up with a million minimum payments and pay for things that you are wanting and you're like, oh gosh, my income's going everywhere, pay for things that you need in cash. Yeah, I can hear some of you be like, wait, what? That's insane. But listen, whether it comes to cars or furniture, pay for them in cash, which means it may not be great furniture. It may not be a great car at first, but that's okay. What you can do is actually save a little bit of money every single month and work your way towards something that you're buying a big purchase with cash. Now, it's not glamorous. It's not instant gratification, but I can say with full confidence that this method will bring you more peace and more control over your money versus surrendering your income to the stressful cycle of constant debt payments. And to put it in realistic terms for you, let's just run a few numbers. Let's say you save $726 per month, which is the average car payment. So instead of having a car payment, you save that. You would have $17,424 in cash in just 2 years. So that's enough to buy yourself a reliable used car. It's great. And imagine if the car that you're driving now was worth $5,000, then put that together and you keep stepping up in car. So this is what's great about it is you're able to say, hey, I'm actually going to take that savings and instead of paying a bank or the car manufacturer, I'm going to pay myself. But like I've mentioned already, the 0% interest trick doesn't just apply to car purchases. I've seen this with outdoor equipment, furniture outlets, hardware stores, and other home warehouses. And even though Home Depot has some great annual sales on appliances, they really screwed one of you guys over recently. Somebody told me the story through social media that I will never forget because this is the perfect example of how 0% interest deals will come back and get you. So this lady on Instagram, she messaged me and was talking about how they had a Home Depot credit card that they forgot about. And then when they went and pulled their credit, they saw it. And it was, at the time, I think, a 0% interest whole scam thing. And now they had to pay interest at 30%. The rate was 30% interest, you guys. So she was like, never again, never again. So repeat after me, you guys. Simple over sneaky. If it seems too good to be true, it's probably because it is. But I also know that it can seem daunting to save up cash for a big purchase, right? Like a car. And so, listen, if you're looking for more margin, one of the best things you can do is budget for your money. Have a plan for your money and tell your income where to go. And that way you can actually take some things maybe out of your expenses throughout the month to be able to save for things like a car. So go to everydollar.com/Rachel and create a budget completely free today, mapping all of this out in real time to really see what you're working with. And if you haven't already, make sure to check out my episode on 5 cars you should never waste your money on. And you'll have to check that one out next. So, as always, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love. All right, today I'm so excited because I had a great conversation with Lewis Howes, and I'm going to share that with you. Lewis Howes is a New York Times bestselling author, a speaker, show host, and a former pro athlete. And he has a new book out called Make Money Easy, and we're going to talk about that and a lot more. So I can't wait for you to join in the conversation. So here it is. Well, Lewis, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks
it's been a few years. I feel like last time was at the old building and the old studio all of it. So a lot's happened in life. I know. You just got married. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So fun. We were just talking about that. Okay, so you've done so much with just your platform, your life in general. And I'm just so curious, like, why money? Like, what was the thing that you were like, okay, this book is like, this has to be written because this is an important subject. It's obviously important because you wrote about it. And I think it's important. So.
You guys are the money experts here. And I always interviewed money experts because I was trying to understand my relationship with money.
Yes.
As I was broke on my sister's couch about 17 years ago, trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life? Mm-hmm. How can I make money? I don't understand money. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a healthy relationship with it. I was just confused. I was anxious. I was worried. I was concerned. I was insecure about myself. And since then, I've always tried to learn how to master my relationship with it. Mm-hmm. Kind of the energy and the emotions behind money. When I get a lot of it, when I spend a lot of it, when I feel like someone's taking advantage of my money, when someone is ungrateful when I give to them, all these different kind of emotions and the energy behind it, I felt like it was blocking me from feeling more peace inside of me. And there are 4 different ways that I realized for me that you can live life with money. And when I was on my sister's couch and I was broke, I was financially broke, living in credit card debt and student loan debt, and I felt spiritually broke as well. I was not clear on my purpose or my direction, no confidence.
Yeah.
I think that's like level 1. No one wants to be there. Mm-hmm. Financially broke and no purpose and no confidence.
Totally miserable.
It's like, what's the point of being here?
What am I doing here? Yes, totally. Yes. Yeah.
And the second phase was being financially broke, still not understanding money or how to make it, but feeling like, man, I've got some confidence. I'm building momentum in my life. I was overcoming fears. I was developing skills. I was learning from coaches and mentors. And I felt like expansive in my heart. I felt like I can tackle anything. I had this energy, this passion, this excitement, this joy. And it just felt more expansive and abundant and peaceful inside, harmonious, like possibilities.
Yeah.
So that's the second level. It's like broke, but feeling more, I can do this. The third level for me, which was probably the scariest, which is I started to figure out how to make money, but I became obsessed with it. I became obsessed with I need to make more and more, and I need to save it all. And I need to make sure that I never go back to my sister's couch. I don't ever want to be broke again.
Yes.
So I was making it almost out of fear.
I was going to say the fear of complex is huge.
Fear. And I was hoarding it, and I was worried about it. And I also wouldn't spend it on myself. I wouldn't.
Okay, so where are we timeline-wise?
This is my late 20s now.
Okay,
right?
okay.
This is I started to make money.
Yep.
And in kind of this first 4 or 5 years, I had $1 million in the bank, and I felt emotionally trapped. So I was like, it's almost the scariest place to be because you think the money is going to make you feel happy and feel better. And maybe it solves some money problems, but all my relationships were out of whack.
Yeah.
Because the energy, the emotions, the anxiety that I was facing with my business, with money as well, it was holding me back in every other area of my life. So I felt spiritually, emotionally trapped in some ways. And there were some blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And the fourth level, so that's the third level. And it's almost like scarier because it's like you have this money, you think it's supposed to fix something.
And it doesn't.
And it doesn't.
Well, which is so like counter to what everyone hears is that money gives you freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom. But if you're not in a place emotionally, what you're saying to handle it, it does the opposite.
For me,
it traps you. Yes.
It trapped.
Yes.
It made it.
It becomes this idol, like this, like chasing thing.
It made the problems bigger.
Yeah.
You know, the more money I was making, it revealed more of what was inside of me. Now, it doesn't mean I was like this horrible guy or something. I still had a lot of love, a lot of joy, a lot of passion inside of me. But there was a lot of things that I felt triggered and wounded emotionally, psychologically, spiritually that I hadn't navigated yet. Mm-hmm. So that was still inside of me. So whenever you poked me emotionally, or I felt like you were taking advantage of me, or I felt like you were stealing from me, or whatever this was, it was like that would come out of me. I would be frustrated, resentful, jealous, competitive, all these things. And it didn't feel emotionally harmonious. So the money didn't make me feel free. Mm-hmm. It made me feel more trapped. And it was a scary place. Now, a lot of people, I see them going to like extreme vices. Like you have the money now you can spend it on expensive things to try to fulfill something. Mm-hmm. You can buy more alcohol, do more drugs, all these different things you have available for you now. Mm-hmm. So it can cause bigger pain and problems in your life if you're not able to manage those emotions. And the fourth way is really figuring out how to be financially successful in a way where you feel comfortable and also you feel emotionally comfortable. Mm-hmm. How can I feel emotionally at peace? You guys have Financial Peace University. It's like, how can I be financially peaceful and spiritually at peace? Doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect and there's no challenges.
Sure.
But 80-90% of the time, I can manage my emotions. I feel good about me. Mm-hmm. I'm on purpose. My relationships are in a good place. I'm healthy and life is good. And I've been in all four of those phases.
Yes.
And the reason I wanted to dive into this topic, again, I'm not a money expert. This is not about investing or charts or like stocks.
Interest rates
tax.
And all of it. Yeah.
It's not about this at all.
Yes.
The biggest episodes that I've done on my show in the last 12 years are around healing and around money. Mm-hmm. And I was like, most people don't have a healthy relationship with money because they're wounded around something from their past that's created a belief system that money is the root of all evil, money doesn't grow on trees, more money, more problems, like whatever it is that they've been told, or greedy people make money, so I'm not going to go make money. Some type of belief system that has influenced our behaviors to act in accordance with the way we think.
Yep.
And therefore, we're just following the script of our beliefs by how we make money, how we receive it, how we block it, how we give it, and how we feel about all those things. And that's what I wanted to study. I wanted to study this within myself because I knew I was struggling and I still haven't mastered this.
Sure.
And so it was understanding how can I feel peaceful, but really how can I just feel free emotionally and know that the money's going to come and go either way.
Yeah, that's so good. Gosh, there's so much there. While we're on the subject of money, one way to put your money to great use is by protecting yourself from online scammers. Listen, I use Delete Me because they have been fantastic. Right now, they have spent over 60 hours on myself. I get a report, so I see this, going in and removing my online information, and they will do the same for you. Because we spend so much time online, you guys. I mean, we are filling out forms, we're shopping, we're booking travel, all of this. And what can happen is that companies end up selling your information to data broker websites, and then they end up trading or selling your data to other companies. And we want all that stopped because that means there will be less scams and spams out there, and your information can be removed. And that is with Delete Me. So they are incredible, and you can get 20% off an annual Delete Me plan, which averages out to around $9 a month. So just go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel or click the link in the description. You have to be consciously aware,
yes,
which I read recently. We're like 94% of our days unconscious. Like we are not conscious. We are not present in ourselves or like what's really going on. We are elsewhere or just live it. We're kind of like sleepwalking through life to a degree. So in order to get to that place where you're like, okay, I am fully aware of the shadow part of me, the unhealthy, the healthy, I'm so aware. That takes a lot of work. Therapy, it does. It takes, I think, a lot of time, a lot of energy. And I think a lot of that work, or at least I can say for me, has been going backwards. It's been going back to past. It's been going back to high school Rachel, middle school Rachel, little kid Rachel, childhood stuff, right? That inner child, all of that.
Yes.
So how much
John Deloney stuff
of that? Yeah, I mean, yes, I mean for real, yeah. But like, how much of that work do you think affects and unlocks and heals?
It's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. For about 6 months on my phone. Now I've got a photo on my phone I showed you of me and my wife at our wedding. But for, I don't know, 4.5 years ago, 5 years ago, I had a photo of my 8-year-old self on my phone.
So good.
Because as a constant reminder that every time I opened my phone, I saw the 8-year-old version of me that was very insecure, that felt abused, that it felt like I had no friends, like I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough, I was getting picked on, all these different things. And I never had his back growing up. I never had his back. Again, this might sound a little weird, but...
No, do you talk to him? Because that's what my
of course, yeah.
do. So you're taking care. You're caretaking him.
So now I'm saying, anytime you feel insecure,
Yeah.
someone's taking advantage of you, I got you. I got your back. I am the adult in the room.
It's not my 8-year-old anymore.
Exactly. And we don't have to live on this belief
good.
system that, you know, I had these core memories and wounds that I had to learn how to heal. And until I healed them, I reacted around emotions and energy and money when I felt triggered based on those wounds.
Yes.
I remember a quick story. When I was 8, my brother went to prison for selling drugs to an undercover cop. And it was devastating for our family. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and it was devastating. And my brother was one of the top classical violinists in the country.
Oh, wow.
But he did some bad things. So I saw this guy who was my hero, but now he's a prisoner, and he was in prison for 4.5 years. And it was very painful and hard for the family. And all my parents' money, which wasn't a lot, went towards legal fees, and just the stress and the trauma around that was devastating. Now, at that time, I wasn't allowed to have friends in the neighborhood. Small town, everyone knows what happened.
Because they don't want their kids around you?
They don't want them around me.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And I'm 8, he's 19, 11-year age difference. I'm the youngest of 4. He's the oldest, I'm the youngest. And it's just a devastating time at home, emotionally. My parents are fighting. Money is at the root, not at the root, but it's in there. So it's like arguments. And there was a moment where I was like, I just want to have friends, but no one was hanging out with me. A couple of kids down the block started a after-school club in their basement of their parents' house, right? And I said, can I join this club? And they said, you can either answer questions correctly to get in or pay money. They asked me the questions, I didn't know the answers, which confirmed that I was dumb, that I wasn't good enough and not smart in my little 8-year-old brain, right?
Totally.
So I ran home and I asked my mom, hey, these kids started a club, but I need $5 to join. My mom looks at me sad, probably because I don't have any friends, but also sad because she didn't have the money at the time. You know, this is back in the late 80s. Didn't have a lot of money at the time with her after this. She plays a game. She says, why don't we go to the couch and open up the cushions and see if we can get some change for you? Go open up all the couch cushions, go in my dresser drawers and see if we can find some change. Spend 30 minutes. We find $5 in change. She puts it in a shoebox. She gives it to me. She said, here you go. I run down the street. I take it to these kids. I go, here's the money. Can I be in your club? They say yes. We go downstairs. They're hanging out by themselves, and I'm sitting alone in the corner still. So this is just a wound. I had to pay to have friends, and they still wouldn't hang out with me. It's just a little wound and an emotional charge that my little nervous system had at 8 years old.
Yep.
That started to shape the belief.
And connect it with money.
And connect it with money, people, abuse, parent, all this stuff in my nervous system that made me more anxious.
Yep.
And until I could go back and start to heal and create new meaning around those memories, I was trapped. It didn't matter how much money I was making because I was running from the past and trying to make money to fill me up. And it didn't make me feel free. So that's why I was like, I need to learn how to overcome these challenges so I can have a better relationship with money.
So good. Yeah, we talk about that personal finance is 80% behavior, 20% head knowledge. Like so much of it isn't really the head knowledge. Like we know it and you can learn about mutual funds and all of that. Like it's a part of it. But way more than half of personal finance is what you do with money. It is the behavior. It's the behavior
and
side.
Your beliefs influence the behavior.
Yeah, that's right. So for someone watching or listening right now that are like, gosh, I've been trying to change my money habits through like willpower, and I've been just trying and grinding, just trying, and it hasn't unlocked. What would you say is like, what would you do at that point?
Yeah.
Because there is a point that we all hit walls of like, my willpower isn't enough. Like there is something else in there. And would you say it is the past, kind of what we're talking about, or like what are a couple of things that someone?
I don't think you're gonna like what I say right now, but
go get debt. Is that what you're gonna say?
No.
I'm kidding.
Get on credit cards. No.
That's right.
No, it sounds so basic that I just don't think you're not gonna. I don't know. But for me, gratitude and generosity are the gateway to peace, freedom, abundance, joy, love.
So much.
And when we are living in anxiety, stress, overwhelm, frustration, resentment, jealousy, comparison, that is not a grateful state energetically. That is not a feeling energetically that leads to a behavior that makes good decisions financially. So gratitude and generosity are the gateway to peace and abundance. And generosity doesn't mean you have to give all your money away. But you're the one who said earlier, it's like, 95% of our time is like unconscious and we're not present. We're thinking about the past. We're concerned about the future. But you can be a very generous human being with your presence, with your attention, with your listening abilities, with your curiosity, with adding resources into someone, making introductions, speaking goodness into them, acknowledging them. Like that can be some of the most generous value you bring over money. And I think if you can say to yourself, how can I live in a state of being as consistently as possible, that is gratitude. Grateful for where I'm at, even if it's not everything I want to be, how can I be grateful for where I'm at and grateful for the people in my life? And how can I be a generous giver to the younger version of me that needs that love and support, the current version of me, and to others around me. And I just believe that you'll have a feeling energetically, like your mom says, feel good, and you'll behave with goodness as well.
Yeah. It's great. Well, you mentioned it earlier, and it is so true that money, and we say it here a lot, but it's the truth that money magnifies who you are, right? It doesn't create good and bad necessarily. It just starts to magnify the depths of who we are as people. And you said that. I mean, it's exactly right.
I don't think, money doesn't fix you. Money doesn't heal you. It reveals you.
That's right. Yes. So good. So for somebody that starts to live, as you just said, with gratitude, with generosity, how would their life look different a year from now, right? If they really start putting into practice, because that is the thing. I think it's true. We hold on to money for a level of control, right? Yes. It can be this thing that we're like, okay, we want to control. And I say at the end of the show every time, take control of your money and create a life you love. Because there is a level of like, hey, we're grown-ups here. And if we just sit there and passively let it happen to us, it's going to continue just to be challenged. So you do have to be in the driver's seat to say, okay, I'm going to direct this part of my life. Because if not, it's just going to happen to me. I'm going to be broke at 78 and trying to retire, whatever it might be, right? So there's a healthy level of that control. That control can go unhealthy real quick.
Yeah, to obsession.
And that it is, seriously, and that's when we hold on to it. And so gratitude is generosity is the complete opposite. It's living with that open hand. So when you do that, if that's the posture of how you hold money, the posture of your heart, how you see people, how you interact with people, your relationships, all of it. Yeah, a person listening that's like, okay, I can't change my habits. I've been trying. I just can't change it. But I am going to live in a more grateful, generous spirit.
Yeah.
What is going to change for them? What are they going to see on the other end?
Become a different being. Like within a year, within days, you're going to radiate an energy that people say something's different about you. And you can feel when someone's frustrated, living in a victim mentality, upset, jealous. Like there's an energy and an attitude that is a lower level energy that holds people back. And you're always like, just get out of it, And you talk about taking control. And it's really about being a responsible human being for yourself. Yeah. And say, how can I be responsible with my money and responsible with my thoughts, with my reactions and everything? And when you live that way, you start behaving in a way that is better decisions. Financially, relationships, whatever it might be. Yeah. And you live in integrity with yourself and you live in integrity with God. And you're doing a better job every day, you're going to feel better and life's going to get better. Yeah, that's so great. I know I always think about scripture, how there's some tactical things in there that are wise, like through Proverbs, that you're just like, it's so good.
But there are so many warnings, so much warnings about money, about wealth, all of this, because, and I think God knew, I think that there was this like level of, this is going to be a double-edged sword for us on this earth. Yeah. And it can be such a gift and such a blessing, but it also can ruin you and trap you more, all of this. And so it's like it's like the story with the talents, right? It's like one of them held on to the talents, right? They didn't reinvest it. They didn't multiply it. And you can't hold on to it or hoard it. And it's also, you can't hold on to your love and your generosity also. You want to multiply that. Yes.
And speak positivity into someone else.
So
acknowledging them, texting a friend once in a while, just saying, hey, I'm here for you if you ever need anything. That's a generous spirit. And the love multiplies. The kindness multiplies. In a world where we just feel stressed and overwhelmed, a lot of people, with what's happening in the world constantly, you can take back control of your life, like you say, and be a responsible human being to you by spreading gratitude and generosity to the people around you.
Yep. So good. Oh, so great. Lewis, thank you.
I appreciate it.
I'm so excited, you guys, for y'all to read this book, because it does. I'm like, there is this element of money, and you're right. We go to the tactical so fast, and that's what people want to know. How do I invest? All of it.
Tax strategy.
And all of it's, fine. But the heart and your position with money it's everything. It is everything. And so obviously, you guys, as you heard from him, like, it dives into all of this and more. We only got like this much of the but there's so much in here. So I'm so thankful you wrote it, and you guys make sure to check it out. And where can people find you?
Just lewishowes.com or the School of Greatness.
Okay. So great. Great podcast too, by the way. So great. Thanks again. Thanks for being
Rachel.
here.
Appreciate it.
All right. We will link Lewis's new book down below, so you can make sure to check it out. But making progress with managing money means nothing if you don't understand the root cause behind it, which is why I had a Harvard professor on to reveal the real reason why we want more money. So make sure to check that out. You can click here, or if you're listening on podcast, click the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.